back with another video. And this video is titled Who Killed Call of Duty? Because right now, COD has been all over the place. So we're about to find out who killed Call of Duty.
New COD is like this.
I mean, so far, yeah.
Call of Duty, in case you weren't paying attention, has become a complete joke.
Maybe
I
COD
ditched
killed
the game
itself
a while ago, but I think diehard fans have been hanging on the past few years, with Warzone 2.0 still able to hit 500,000 players back in 2022. But what has happened since Black Ops 6 came out 1 year ago is truly unique. There's been a complete collapse of the player base from within. Huge COD streamers and content creators are just giving up and quitting the game in droves right now. I noticed Jev just completely quit playing the game. The player count
Jev's doing his own thing.
Cliff with concurrent player numbers on Steam sitting at around 60,000 since January.
Jesus.
But it gets worse. In May, Activision got busted for inserting ads into paid versions of Call of Duty. They backpedaled and call it a UI glitch. Right. Beavis and Butthead and Seth Rogen skins show they've abandoned any pretense of this being a military game and have so little respect for us that they think we will leap at whatever retarded nostalgia bait they toss in our piggy trough. Black Ops 7's announcement last month, instead of generating hype, had the fan base letting out a heavy sigh with a historic amount of downvotes on the trailer.
Does that trailer have more downvotes or dislikes than the Advanced Warfare trailer?
One user commented, "No matter what, there will be a bunch of Ninja Turtles and Teletubbies running around the maps. Might as well include them in the trailer next time." Also, them thinking they can buy you off with some cheap nostalgia bait always pisses me off, completely ignoring the fact this game is nothing like it was in 2005.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't it funny how on the cover art of the game, they're still leaning into this badass thing like, ooh, look, this new COD is going to be so gritty and intense. Boot the game up and there's 20 Barneys running around. So
It's
how
not
do we
wrong.
get here, boys? How do we go from Call of Duty being the most successful military shooter of all time to Ninja Turtles running around with a pizza launcher as Activision desperately tries to squeak out one more dollar from you? Well, I think it's four major things that killed Call of Duty, and I want to explain each one in detail. Number one, cosmetics in Call of Duty used to be an indicator of player skill. Now, any cosmetic can simply be purchased with a credit card, and it has no meaning anymore. So this might blow some minds.
Very
but
true,
did you
very
know in
true.
World at War in 2008, literally the only thing that showed off what a badass you were was this tiny little number right here and this tiny little icon right here, but people worked their ass off for these. The next year, MW2 added calling cards which would show up in the kill cam whenever a player killed you. The best calling cards were only available for certain achievements, 100 headshots, 1,000 bomb defusals, things like that. Within a few years, gun camos started to be unlocked for incredible player feats. I remember diamond camo was the hardest.
So it's almost like uniqueness.
Too. But if you ever
It feels like he's saying that uniqueness killed COD.
saw the kill cam of somebody kill you with diamond camo, you thought, okay, I'm not so mad because that dude was a badass. So you see, back in the day, cosmetics in the game were limited, and what few cosmetics the game had were tied to player skill. You couldn't get the diamond camo unless you were a Giga Chad in Black Ops 2. In MW2, there was a calling card you could only get if you had called a nuke, aka you had gotten a 25 kill streak. You were showing off your skill, and what
Didn't
a
they change that as well?
How has this changed today? In modern Call of Duty,
Like
the
nuke
best,
kill streak?
flashiest, and most
Because
conspicuous...
I feel like this year they changed it to 30, but it's always been 25. That's just me.
items
Maybe I'm
today are
wrong.
no longer tied to player skill. While yes, they technically still have a calling card for getting multiple nukes, the flashiest items are character skins, and these can all be purchased with a credit card. Nobody cares about your calling card when you're getting your ass beat by Nicki Minaj. Anybody with mom's credit card can become a Ninja Turtle or the guy from Saw or Nicki Minaj. In a word, cosmetics no longer have meaning or significance anymore. Now, why would Activision do this? Because at the end of the day, they don't care about gameplay. They just want to make as much money as possible.
Okay, wait. I'm pausing a lot here, but I will say Modern Warfare 2019 had a fairly decent amount of good cosmetics. Then we kind of tapered off into like ridiculousness.
Most players are
just
bad.
me.
Most players have no skill. But if I can pay $50 for a Rambo skin, maybe that's going to make me feel better that I'm bad at the game. I really miss this aspect of Call of Duty where your achievement in the game was attached to some kind of trophy that you
It
could
was
show
something you
off.
earned.
But those days are long gone. Before my next point, I want to tell you guys about a free game that, unlike Call of Duty, never went woke, and that is
I'm sorry, we got to skip the
history screen. Start playing the biggest
we gotta
vehicle
skip
combat game
the
on
ad.
Earth right now on mobile, PC, or console. War Thunder. Okay, back to the video. Number 2. Call of Duty has completely killed its own atmosphere and become a joke. Do you ever look around at Gapex, Fortnite, Call of Duty, 7 Gays to Die, etc., and just think,
this guy, for some reason, has a thing with slurs, and I don't know what it is.
Become the same game. When I was growing up, you actually got different experiences from playing different games. Halo 3, Bad Company, and COD 4, despite all being first-person shooters, had completely different controls and were very different games. Call of Duty, despite being bombastic at times, was always known for its gritty, realistic military tone. The pinnacle of this was probably achieved in World at War. The ability to blow off limbs and heads and feet in World at War was truly unparalleled. Maybe the GameStop employee was looking the other way while your mom bought it for you in 2008. The game opens with a Japanese guard torturing an American POW by putting out a lit cigar in his face. You had soldiers screaming and crying out to God as they were burned alive with flamethrowers. At one point,
it gets quiet a little bit.
In a pile of corpses with the birds feasting on your flesh. Even the color grading of the game has much more muted, subdued tones compared to anything we would see today. World at War is a masterpiece. All right, so you finished the single-player campaign. Now imagine in 2008, you boot up the multiplayer for World at War, and it looks like this.
Yeah, I get his point. But also, World at War was made, what, a little over 20 years ago, maybe? And with how animation design and everything has changed over time, I will give it. I wouldn't play Call of Duty World at War if it looked like this. I would not. I just wouldn't.
What indicates to me that Call of Duty might actually be collapsing as a brand right now is that the level of cartoony bullshit we are seeing in the game right now is something we've never seen before in the 23 years of this game's history. COD desperately needs to remember where it came from. It needs to get back to the basics. World at War had no cosmetics. The way your character looked would just change depending on your class, sniper, machine gunner, etc. Perks like stopping power and juggernaut required some level of strategy. There were only 3 kill streaks: radio, mortar barrage, and of course dogs. Just the tone of the voice lines in the old CODs was totally different. Gary Oldman out here making me believe I'm in an actual war right now. On the ledge! Shoot him! I want to give credit to the Modern Warfare games, of course, as well. Modern Combat, Terrorists, Nukes, the Middle East, badass Spetsnaz soldiers, Russian military. I actually think MW2 is my favorite campaign in the entire series.
I think there's a lot of people, though,
where the campaign was over the top, flying down a hill in snowmobiles with a one-handed SMG, but there wasn't any goofy clown-ass bullshit in Modern Warfare. The games were badass. Fixing Call of Duty would mean killing all of the corny skins and characters and ridiculous trash that Activision has added to the game, and they make too much money off of this garbage. So guys, let's just accept that it's never going to happen. We simply have to find other games to play. I recommend Squad, Arma Reforger, Hell Let Loose, Insurgency Sandstorm, Ready or Not, etc. Number 3, Call of Duty.
I think play style would be slightly different with those games, and if you're not used to that different kind of play style, then you're not gonna feel like that COD-esque version of the game. So yeah, good alternatives, but at the same time, would you continue playing it?
To fix its skill-based damage modifiers and other SBMM trash that it added to the game since 2019.
True.
Do you ever notice that early on in the evening, COD puts you in easier lobbies, and as the night goes on, the game gets harder?
Yes.
That is 100% part of their algorithm. Here's another interesting patent that Activision filed for the game in 2017. Reading directly from the patent, the system may include a microtransaction arrange matches to influence game-related purchases. For instance, the system may match a more expert slash marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game related purchases of items possessed used by the marquee player.
Hmm.
So, first off, we know that Activision is filing some sketchy patents that have to do with matching certain players with other players to make them buy more stuff. Another thing that
Which was a thing back with Warzone 1 slash Warzone 2, I think. And the fact that when you were buying bundles, you could get into easier lobbies. And they would deny it for sure, but there's definitely a fact.
The code recently is a modifier that adjusts how much damage bots do according to that player's kill to death ratio. You can watch videos of it happening. So if you have a 0 kill to death ratio, you will do more damage to bots. If you have a 2.0 kill to death ratio, you'll do less damage to bots. So fans immediately wanted to know, is this happening with player damage? One YouTuber tried to do this in a private match and wasn't able to produce any difference based on your KD, but then you find a ton of clips online of bogus treatment that begin to make you really ask what's going on.
Bravo.
I've had this. I know exactly what he means. I've had it so many times. The amount of times when I'm grinding multiplayer for camos and this happens, hardcore or core, it doesn't matter. It's like, what is going on?
So
I get the feeling.
To the server is involved every time there's a hit marker. Basically, your console has to connect to the COD servers and then relay back before it can confirm that there's a hit. But the amount of sketchy junk going on lately should raise red flags for all of us. You'll see players unloading 2 clips into somebody before they die. You'll see blood splatters and obvious hits with no hit marker. So all of this horrible netcode and manipulation of player lobbies and the amount of damage people are doing is just sketchy, and it's killing confidence that people used to have in this game that it was going to give them a fair experience. So what are we asking for here? I honestly think COD needs to revert back to like its 2017 era netcode. I remember getting mad that somebody was dropping a Huey on me in the original Black Ops, but there was never me just completely hitting somebody and it not registering shots. So in order to fix this, Call of Duty just needs to take out all of its current garbage netcode and rewrite it completely, I think. This is the kind of junk that has made me never want to pick up Warzone again, and I hope they sort it out soon. All right, this is the last one. Number 4. As I've talked about in other videos, Call of Duty needs to remove all the woke girl boss garbage from these games. So I know the single player campaign is such a minor thing to Activision these days because people barely play it. But when you start the Black Ops 6 campaign and it has all these Latina girl bosses, all these gay characters, and all this trans garbage, it just doesn't...
I think his personal feelings towards this is getting in the way of the game. I have no reason to doubt that there would be girl bosses, but his integrity for certain things is affecting the game. Am I making sense here?
Fit with the
leave a comment if I'm making sense here.
You can get mad about it, but Call of Duty campaigns have always primarily featured men doing military stuff. There are virtually 0 women in elite combat roles around the globe. It's like less than 1%. Boot up Call of Duty and you would think 50% of military PMCs are women. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not going to rant about the woke stuff in Call of Duty. You can see that stuff in my other videos, but I'm going to get out of here. So I think the only way they're going to fix COD is go back like 10 years, rewind the clock, and start over. Give us like 3 kill streaks. Give us a couple perks. Give us very limited and very realistic appearances for the different characters, appearances for the guns. Make the guns look correct. Don't just invent a bunch of retarded guns and put them in the game. But guys, let's be honest. Call of Duty isn't going to do any of that. They're never going to fix the game, and it's probably going to be like this until it dies. So our only hope right now is to seek out more realistic military games. Before we get out of here,
I think I agree with at least 70% of what he's saying. The wokeness, I know where he's coming from, but I have no reason to doubt the fact that you would have women in the game. Like, why wouldn't you have them in the game, right? I'm not defending him. I'm not trying to go against him. I'm just saying there's no reason to not have them. Other than that, they need to go back to the basics. I think the last time COD was even fairly good, right, was with Modern Warfare 2019. in Cold War, right? That movement, game wise, the campaign, everything. If you want to go before that, it was probably like you said, 10 years ago, right? Um, COD has definitely killed itself. COD has killed itself in so many ways. Is like you said, last thing you want to see is where is it? These guys show up in your lobby, and you're like, "What are you playing?" The amount of skins that they're trying to put in is it's definitely a pay to win game. It's for sure that. But the only way COD can make more games is by getting the money for it. And how are they going to get the money for it? By us as the consumer.